Ukrainian drones struck the Atlas facility in Rostov Oblast, part of Russia's state reserve system. Atlas stores and supplies strategic materials like fuel, lubricants, food, and tech gear. Fuel tanks are burning at the Atlas plant of Rosreserve, federal agency for state reserves in the Rostov region following a drone strike. The fire at the site was confirmed by the NASA FIRMS satellite monitoring service. A severe blaze was recorded at 3:41 a.m. across the entire facility, which houses 32 tanks containing petroleum products. At the time of publication, there were no official statements regarding the incident. The Russian Ministry of Defense only reported that a fire had broken out following an attack on an industrial facility in the Kamensky district. It is worth noting that the Atlas plant has not been targeted by Ukrainian drones for the first time. Specifically, on the night of November 29, 2024, the facility experienced a large-scale fire following an attack by strike drones. The plant's fuel tanks are a crucial element of logistical support for the Russian military operating on Ukrainian territory. In addition to the November attack, the plant was also hit in August 2024. At that time, fuel storage tanks were damaged, causing a severe fire. The fuel tanks are located near the city of Kamensk-Shakhtinsky, approximately 100 to 150 kilometers from the front line. Ukrainian drones had struck an industrial site near the Lukoil oil refinery in Kstovo, the Nizhny Novgorod region, having renewed a campaign against Russia's fuel and energy sector. This attack resumes the trend of Ukrainian attacks on the Russian fuel and energy industry after a prolonged pause. On June 6th, drones targeted the Kristall oil depot, operated by Russia's Federal Agency for State Reserves, located in Engels. Jet fuel for Russian strategic aviation is stored at the facility. The attack was viewed as part of a broader campaign against Russia's long-range strike capabilities. Ukraine's 3rd Assault Brigade destroyed a Russian AGS grenade launcher and wiped out infantry positions with precise FPV drone strikes. Footage shows multiple hits by the Primus unit of the 1st Assault Battalion. The Ukrainian 3rd Assault Brigade is one of the most battle-hardened and elite units in the armed forces. Known for its aggressive tactics and high mobility, the brigade has played key roles in Bakhmut, Avdiivka, and other hotspots. Composed of experienced fighters, including veterans from Azov, it specializes in offensive operations and urban combat. Meanwhile, Russians keep seeking ways to protect their bukhankas from Ukrainian FPV drones. Latest addition to their collection of apocalyptic bukhankas, the porcupine bukhanka. It won't help much. SBU Chief Vasyl Malyak congratulates the Alpha Group on its 31st anniversary. "You don't just destroy the enemy. You defend Ukraine's future." He confirmed Alpha's key role in recent ops, including the strike on 41 Russian strategic bombers, 1,610 enemy tanks hit by Alpha alone. An S-300 launcher was also seen destroyed in this footage. Ukraine's Alpha Group is an elite special forces unit under the SBU, trained for counterterrorism, sabotage, and high-risk operations behind enemy lines. Highly secretive and well-equipped, they've carried out daring raids, targeted assassinations, and critical intelligence missions against Russian forces throughout the war. A soldier who had only recently returned from the front may be trapped under the rubble of a destroyed building in Kyiv.
Не може про що говорити, про що ми будемо говорити.
Не знаємо долю сусіда, внизу людей, яких знали багато років, теж не стало сьогодні. І дитинства шматок забрали. Ми тут виросли, жили, народилися. Не одне покоління, аж 3 цілих. Тому шкода. Більше нема слів. Дивишся, як розбирають те, що ти будував, куди ходив, де зустрічав радість, горе. Тому так.
Дуже вам співчуваю.
Дякуємо.
А сусіда, ви кажете, може бути ще під завалами, так?
Ну, ми не знаємо його долю, так. Шукають. Останній раз хвилин півгодини підходила, ще не знайшли. Зараз на цей момент я не знаю, щодо його долі. Єдине знаю, що він буквально вчора чи позавчора повернувся з передової. Він був на ротації. Це єдине, що я про нього знаю, прекрасна дитина. все. Надію, що він живий і здоровий.
NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte stated that Ukraine will receive additional aid worth 35 billion euros from European countries and Canada this year, according to The Guardian. According to him, Russia currently remains the most direct threat to NATO. Of course, the most significant and direct threat facing this alliance remains the Russian Federation. Moscow continues to wage war against Ukraine with the support of North Korea, Iran, and China, as well as Belarus. We all want peace for Ukrainian people and an end to the terrible war against them, said Rutte. He noted that it is necessary to continue providing Ukraine with everything it needs for defense today and deterrence in the future. Our support for Ukraine is unwavering and will persist, the Secretary General declared. He also said that new figures show that our European and Canadian allies have stepped up and have already pledged where we originally would have been able to announce that 20 billion over the first 3 months of this year. It is now. They will provide over 35 billion euros of additional security assistance to Ukraine for the year ahead. Last year, the Security Service of Ukraine, in cooperation with the Polish Special Services, foiled an assassination attempt on the President of Ukraine at the Rzeszów airport. This was told to Glawcom website by the head of the Security Service of Ukraine, Lieutenant General Wasyl Maliuk, at a closed meeting with journalists. The crime was to be committed by a Polish citizen. The plan was to physically eliminate the Ukrainian president when he arrived at the Rzeszów airport. Among the means of assassination, he considered a sniper system and an FPV drone. A military pensioner, a Pole, who was recruited decades ago, and he sacredly believed in the Soviet idea and nurtured the intention over the years. So this canned food, was activated, Maliuk said. Poland helped prevent the assassination of the president. In cooperation with ABW, Internal Security Agency of Poland, operatives, Ukrainian Special Services managed to thwart the assassination attempt. I would like to take this opportunity to thank the Polish ABW. This is an analog of the SSU on the territory of Poland, the so-called Internal Security Agency. We implemented an important criminal proceeding together with them, he noted. Earlier, in April 2024, the Polish authorities announced the indictment of a man named Paweł K., who was instructed to assist the Russian Special Services in planning an attack on the life of the head of a foreign state, President of Ukraine Volodymyr Zelensky. At that time, it was reported that the arrest had been made on the basis of Ukrainian intelligence data. The detainee allegedly agreed to provide Russian intelligence officers with information about the security system of the Rzeszów-Jasionka airport, located in southeastern Poland. The Rzeszów airport is the main Polish transport hub on the way to Ukraine, which is used by government delegations during foreign trips. In addition, it is actively used to receive foreign military cargo. The head of the SSU also gave the details of another assassination attempt on the president, which was prepared in May 2024 by 2 colonels of the Ukraine's State Security Administration, working for the so-called Fifth Service of the Russian FSB. The recruited officers were looking for people and planned to carry out the assassination during Zelensky's transition to the territory of the president's office. For our part, it was a very difficult job. We have been doing it for almost 2 years, in fact, since the beginning of the war. We carried out intense intelligence and technical penetration into this group, said Maliuk. Previously, Militarny reported that the enemy's plan had included monitoring the movement of the first person and transmitting to the Russian side the coordinates of the house where he had been supposed to be located for a missile strike. The survivors were planned to be finished off with drones after the first strike, after which another missile was to hit the place to destroy traces of the drones. One of the detained Ukrainian State Security Administration's colonels personally brought FPV drones, RPG-7 grenades, as well as MON-90 anti-personnel mines to Kyiv, which the agent was supposed to use on the spot. An Iranian-made Arash-2 kamikaze drone has crashed in Kazakhstan, with Russian media outlets claiming that it was launched by Ukraine. Shot, a Russian media outlet known for pro-government messaging, published a photo of the wreckage, describing it as a British Banshee Jet 80 drone allegedly used by the Ukrainian military. The incident occurred in the Karakia district of the Mangistau region, in a remote area far from populated settlements. According to its manufacturer, the Arash-2 drone has a range of up to 2,000 kilometers. Analysts say it could have flown across Turkmenistan or the Caspian Sea before entering Kazakh airspace. The crash was likely caused by a failure in its navigation system. While the Arash-2 and the Banshee Jet 80 share some external similarities, there are significant differences. The most notable is the engine type. The Arash-2 uses a piston engine, while the Banshee Jet 80 is powered by 2 jet engines. This difference also influences structural design. For example, the Banshee's main wing is positioned closer to the engine and tail, while the Arash-2 has its wing mounted farther forward. Other distinctions include the drone's overall size, keel shape, and the presence or absence of air intakes on the upper fuselage. The Arash-2 lacks the prominent air intakes found on jet-powered aircraft and has a differently shaped tail fin. This is not the first time Russian media has misattributed drone crashes in Kazakhstan. On February 19th, a Russian Orlan-10 reconnaissance drone was found near oil infrastructure in Kazakhstan. The drone was discovered near a facility of the Caspian Pipeline Consortium, a Russian-Kazakh joint venture. Russian media initially claimed the drone was a French-made Sagem Crechorel in an apparent attempt to obscure its origin. On March 19th, another incident occurred when a Russian Jiran-2 Shahed 136 loitering munition with the tail number 1-18358 crashed in Kazakhstan.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to support Warthog Defense, please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comment section. The membership link is in the description.
Rescues every day. We had a guy last week at 6 rescues in 6 days. You know, he's doing the job every day.